Hello, everybody, and welcome to the second episode of the Pius Pod. Today, we're being joined by the two varsity head coaches for our basketball programs, Coach Moore and Coach Cloyd, and they are ready to start their season soon. And firstly, I want to say thank you guys for being here.
Of course, thanks for having us.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm also joined here with freshman Teddy Foster.
What's up, everybody? Thank you, coaches, for joining us.
Of course.
And yeah, so we're going to talk all things basketball here. We head into a very promising season. And so I want to start with you, Coach Cloyd. Right now, before the season even started, you have Harris Reynolds committing to Clemson. We haven't seen a commitment like that in quite some time. What does it mean to coach a guy like him, and what does he bring to your team this year?
Well, I guess the best way to answer that is by just saying that his style of play is something unique that we haven't really seen around a lot ever. We've had some high-level players, Spencer Elliott, Matt Gonzalo, guys that really could do a lot of things. But Harris is just a different sort of player. I mean, he's a 6'5", 6'6" true point guard with unlimited athleticism, a high IQ. He's smooth. He glides out on the court. He can do a little bit of everything. So it really elevates us as a team and us really as a program. I mean, he brings attention wherever he goes.
Yeah.
People know who he is, whether you're a St. Pius person or not. You see him everywhere. It's almost ubiquitous, which is great. I love it, and he's going to help us do some really special things this year.
Yeah. It's fun to watch.
Yeah,
He's
he's electric.
He had that really good dunk in the scrimmage.
Yes, that was something.
Shut the gym down.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of, both of y'all played Lakeside. Coach Moore, I was watching over some of your tape. Coach, what did you see out of your Lakeside scrimmage that was brought to your attention before the opening game?
So, this year we're asking them to do a lot of different things from what they've been doing the past few years. We're really wanting them to play with pace, which is going to have a learning curve. This summer, they did a really good job adapting to it pretty quickly. We had a really good summer. We went to the GBCA tournament, won our bracket there. It created some great momentum, but throughout the fall, we've been asking them to do some different things and kind of building that. And so Lakeside was kind of the first time we really got to see that in action, and we ran our lanes great. We did a lot of really good things. I still think we need to work on our transition passing. We had, I think it was 12 unforced turnovers, and almost all of them were in transition, so that is certainly a work in progress. But the fact that we were running our lanes and getting out and running, and I mean, we had 26 turnovers, but we actually had, I think it was 24 steals, and Lakeside had over 30 turnovers. So we created the pressure we wanted. So a lot of good things and a lot of things to work on and a lot of things to show some growth.
Yeah, I saw on the stat sheet, I think it was like 20 offensive rebounds or something. That'll definitely win you games, I feel. But I want to also relay that to you, Coach Cloyd. You have DeMarley, and you have Harris, and you got some other big center guys. What value do they add in the paint with getting those rebounds and being able to turn down court quickly?
Yeah, last year we were a very small team. Just as far as personnel, we really played a four-guard lineup, and that was a pain point for us, was rebounding. And it's also the sort of thing where our philosophy has kind of, in the past anyway, shifted away from rebounding. And because we have more size this year, we're going to redouble our efforts to rebound the basketball, to possess the ball. And then, yeah, to your point, to get out and run in transition. We've always wanted to do that, push pace and tempo, but in order to do that, you have to possess the ball first. And we're obviously in a region with some really athletic teams. Tucker and Southwest DeKalb are both, they're physical, Southwest more so, Tucker more so athletic, but they're going to push us to possess the ball, and that's going to be something that we have to keep an eye on.
Coach Moore, it's no secret that you moved here from that school over on Ashford Dunwoody that should not be named, and we're so grateful to have you here. Having one of the top players on your team, top players in the country on your team, Kate Harpering, how is it knowing that you've coached her for years? How is it going to help in stopping her this year?
So let's start with, I will say, I think she's a top player in the country. I've watched girls basketball for a very long time, and man, she is smooth. She's, in my opinion, the best high school girls player I've seen. And I mean, I've seen some players here that have been phenomenal too. I actually got to meet Asia Durr the other day, which was awesome. But yeah, it was a joy to coach her. She loves basketball. You know, as hard as she works, she's a team player, and she does a lot for that team. And I mean, the honest answer is I don't know yet. We've got some things we want to throw at her. But the reality is right now we're not thinking about Marist. We're thinking about what we can do today in practice to get better. We got a huge game against Midtown on Tuesday, which is kind of our priority right now, taking it one day at a time. So yeah, when that game gets there, and it'll be a big game, it'll be an emotional game for me. I mean, pretty much all the girls on that team I coached before or saw them throughout the season, kind of in their lower program. So yeah, it's going to be a lot. And the first game's at Marist. It'll be weird to return over there. I'm looking forward to that for sure. But more so, I'm looking forward to really just getting out at practice today and getting better.
Coach Cloyd, last year was your first year of being the head coach of varsity basketball. So it must have been different adjusting to that. Do you have any new adjustments this year as you've grown as a coach?
Yeah, I'd say the main thing that I'm going to adjust to is the lights aren't going to be quite so bright as they were last year. There were some big-time situations and big-time games. And those situations were brand new to me. I'd never been in situations like that as a head coach. I mean, I've coached in some big games as an assistant, but it's really different when you scoot over those 6 inches. And now I've done it once, and I've done it in a high, in high level games against Marist at Marist, in the state tournament when we won our first round game, upsetting a 1 seed, and those situations, and not only that, but those practices leading up to those games, having done them and having repped them, and the walkthroughs and the pregame meals and the stuff of that nature. It's only going to get easier in the second year doing it because there are going to be fewer surprises and fewer issues that will present themselves.
So both of you, head coaches for these varsity basketball programs, what's it like balancing teaching here at St. Pius and how hard that is, as well as being a head coach for a varsity sport?
Yeah, I mean, I'll start with the basketball side of it. I think St. Pius girls basketball, I mean, they're in the 21st century, one of the premier really programs in the entire state. Multiple state championships, WNBA players. I mean, I got to talk to Kelly Kane last year up in Tennessee. I mentioned this earlier, but I meet Asia Durr. I mean, the players that have come through here, it's pretty awesome to be a part of that. I've taught my entire time. I was a boys head coach over at Marist for a while, the girls varsity assistant. So balancing that it's always difficult. Ashton, I mean, I have you in class, so you will know during basketball season the lag time between assignments coming back gets a little longer. But yeah, I mean, I spend a lot of time with the girls and watching film and breaking down everything basketball-wise. But I understand that priority here is the educational part, and my students have been fantastic, and it's been a joy doing both. But it's tough to balance it sometimes.
Yeah. Coach Cloyd, I had you for English my freshman year. What's it like for you balancing those two?
Yeah, it's one of those things where I think Coach hit the nail on the head. It really is an academic environment first, and we know that no matter what sport you play or coach, you get paid to teach, and that's something that I really have a passion for. That's why I'm here, is to teach English. I love basketball as well. That's something that I'm fully addicted to, and it's funny, whenever I go home and I pull my laptop out, my wife always asks me, are you grading or are you watching film? And that's it's either one or the other, and those two things are something that I'm just dedicated to my students because I know they deserve the best, and then to my players because I know they also deserve the best. And so the balance really is something that it's all a constant struggle to achieve, because you're going to have situations where you have kind of an ebb and flow, assignments coming in, assignments going out. You have big weeks where there are multiple big games. Like this week, we don't have any games, so I'm really hitting the books and trying to get my assignments back. But next week, we have 2 games, and so it's going to be a lot of film and a lot of preparation. And
the reality is it's for our players too. It's a balance there. I mean, it's a long season. It's a season where we're practicing 5-6 times sometimes with 2 games a week, so it's a balance for them too. And that's something that as coaches we got to understand and respect, but also push them to make sure they're the best versions of themselves in the classroom and on the court.
Coach Cloyd, you've played here and you've been on the basketball staff for years. What can you say about the impressive history of St. Pius basketball and where this team stacks up against the teams you've seen?
Well, if we go back to the time when I was in high school, I can say that we have come a far distance. We were not very good when I was in high school. I think my senior year we only won 3 games. And high school basketball has changed a great deal since then, but our culture has changed tremendously. Coach Parr, when he first came in, his first few years, he did a great job establishing basketball culture, which was really non-existent before that. And when I first came on, it was very apparent to me that these guys, as they came through, really bought into that. And the school bought into that, where there were huge crowds at games. There was a lot of excitement about basketball, not only at the varsity level, but all the way down through middle school, sub-varsity level. And as far as this year's team goes, we have as much talent as any team in the state of Georgia. And I've coached teams with a quarter of this talent that really won a lot of basketball games. And right now we're in a position to do that with more talent, which theoretically makes my job easier.
Mm-hmm.
Also, there's this expectation to win and there's an expectation to perform.
Right.
And that's something that I really relish and I enjoy that because I'm ready for it. And the earlier question about having a year under my belt, that's sort of something that I'm able to use now because last year the expectations were the same. And now that I've seen how that kind of plays, that'll be easier this year.
Right. You definitely. I've been seeing growing attendance in the past years, and definitely for basketball too. I remember back when Coach Parr was head coaching. I went to what was it? UL. Y'all
Yes,
lost to in the state
Upson Lee,
championship.
that's correct.
Upson Lee. Yeah. Went to that game in McCamish. Lost that one, but yeah, the culture has definitely been growing. I can definitely notice that. So.
Yeah, we're super proud of that.
I mean, I can tell you as a person from the other school, as you called it, we always enjoyed going to Pius. Like, it was, at least from the boys' basketball perspective, it was our favorite game of the year. Even more so than playing at Marist. The crowds at Marist are great. That's a bigger gym. But, like, this one, when it's packed out, it's full. I mean, I remember playing, and I think you were part of the staff in 2019 when we had I think it was either Sweet 16 or the Lead 8. It was Sweet 16 here. Marist Pius, I mean, it was mind-blowingly fun. It was crowded. It
jungle
was
really shows
loud.
up.
It was awesome.
Yeah, and those games, those environments, I mean, Marist Pius especially, I have memories of playing them, and it'll be the dead of winter, and you'll just be soaked as a coach, sweating through your clothes before the ball even tips. And that's just partly because we didn't have AC back then, but also
Yeah.
because the atmosphere is just rocking, and it's just so electric, and people are, all week they're talking to you, and all week they're excited for you and that really makes it more fun as a coach, but also just to be a part of this community for a basketball team and a basketball set of teams that really is embraced and really people are excited for.
Yeah, I've already seen it. I mean, it was a scrimmage game at Lakeside, and we had a great crowd, which was awesome.
Again, for both coaches, what represents success to you guys this season?
Well, I think the number one thing we have to do is we have to represent our young men, and not just on the court but off the court. We have to make sure that they handle their business in the classroom. They have to get the grades they're supposed to get, and they have to really be held accountable to that. And once they handle that, then I think the basketball stuff is really when it comes into play. Obviously we want to win games, but we want to get better. I mean, we want to see marked improvement from day one to the end of the season, and that really is what it's all about. Winning is kind of it's a thing everyone talks about. It's really hard to measure winning because games are won and lost in so many different ways. But it's easy to see, I think, improvement in teams that reach their potential. So reaching potential is always what I aim for, and teams that do that, however far you make it in a state tournament or in a region tournament or what have you, if you're able to take a group of guys that were initially 15 or 14 or however many individuals and bring them together and allow them to work together and to grow together, that's really what it's all about.
Yeah, I mean, I echo pretty much all of those sentiments, especially in terms of, you want the kids to be the best versions of themselves. That's on the court, that's off the court. It's preparation, it's attention to detail, it's being positive with one another, it's being connected. To me, success is never measured in wins and losses, but the thing is, if you do those little things that I would consider successful, a lot of times the wins and losses take care of themselves.
Right.
And to me, the goal every year, we don't say we want to do this and win this game. We say we want to be the best versions of ourselves and the best possible team we can be when region tournament play starts. And that starts with every single day trying to get better. And sometimes you get better by leaps and bounds. Sometimes you move backwards a little bit. But that's a long process throughout the whole season.
Yeah,
sure.
Talking about winning too much can really hurt a team's culture, because then you're not always going to win. And if that's your goal and you don't achieve it, then what? Like, then it really is hard to feel good about what you're doing. But if you're working towards something, if you're working on loving God, or if you're working on being a better version of yourself, to Coach's point, then that is something you can measure, and you can achieve that.
Right. Yeah, we saw that. I played baseball last year. We got off to our first undefeated season in a long time, and yeah, Coach Harlan would drill into us that just because we're just winning and winning, that doesn't mean we're reaching the potential that we have. So that's, great point too. And Coach, going into this season, first year head coach here at Pius, what do you bring to the table as a coach for these girls?
Ultimately it's not about me. It's about the girls. I think one thing that from day one, these girls have welcomed me. It's daunting to be at a new place. It is daunting to be at a new place when you come from a place that this new place doesn't really love. But feeling and having a sense of really home since really the first week of summer has been awesome with these girls. And shout out to the boys golf team. They've been great too and welcoming me. I'm looking forward to that season in the spring. But especially the seniors, Eva Russell, Gianna Musi, Parker Lee, and Jillian Studdard. They have done a great job with these girls, leading them. We're asking them to do a lot of different things than they've done in the past. But they have been willing and able. They've been leading what we've been doing. We've got a great junior class as well. We've got returners in Heidi and SP. They've done a great job. And even our sophomores. Taylor Dixon was on the team last year, and she's taken leaps and bounds and gotten better. So I'm really, really excited about the crew we have.
And what about you, Coach Cloyd? What do you bring for this team, and what do your players bring to the table this season?
Yeah, one thing we're really going to have is senior leadership. We have 7 seniors, all of which bring something unique to the table, and they really are buying into leadership, whatever it might look like. Some guys are more quiet, some guys really lead by example, and some guys really lead through vocal leadership. And that's something that last year we really struggled with, finding our leadership and finding our energy and our voice. And to Coach Moore's point, we have great juniors as well. Max Etienne and Zach Imtatu are phenomenal leaders. They're really, really solid. And they're just a bunch of guys that right now are buying into being together and loving each other, which I know that might not be what people think about when they think about boys sports, but it really is huge. And it's something that a lot of guys struggle with, is really expressing that they care about each other. Because it's not something that's really people want to talk about, but it's so important. If guys really care about each other, not just when they're up, not just when the highlights are on, but when things are tough and it feels like you can't get a shot to go down or things can't go right, man, if you are together in those moments, then that's when the growth and that success really occurs. And I think we have the group to do that.
I have one final question for the both of you, maybe arguably the most important. Who would win in a 1v1 game between you two?
How much time do I have to stretch? Because if I have time to stretch, I think he beats me by a few points. If I don't have time to stretch, I not only would lose by a lot, but I think I would tear both hamstrings.
The more important thing is that we have Coach Moore on board for the seniors versus faculty basketball. That is more important because we are 0 for thus far. We've had some very tightly contested games, but we cannot get over the hump. And it's nice to get some fresh blood in here because we keep getting older. But those kids say the same age, and it is hard to pick up, and guard against a kid who's 18 as you slowly get over the hill.
Yeah, and I've recruited Coach Parr to my men's league team, so we're getting him in shape for the game too.
It's
so
all about
worry.
preparation.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of size on the faculty team.
We do. Sizes and everything.
No, those kids are quick, man, and they're young.
Yeah, Coach, you balled out last year. I remember that.
It wasn't last year. I remember vividly. I missed every single shot I took.
Okay.
But the previous year, yes.
Was last year the one where you had 3 free throws?
No, that was 2 years ago.
Gotcha.
So that was probably the most. As a 34-year-old man, you don't expect to be in front of 1,000 screaming people as you shoot 3 free throws to try to send the game to overtime. You don't expect that when you come to work that day. So it was crazy, but it was fun, and that's part of it. Look, honestly, that's part of our basketball culture and our school culture. One thing I love about St. Pius is because from the time I went here to teaching here and working here, one thing I love about the school is that we not only know how to work hard, we know how to have fun, and there's a definite time when that was so much fun, and then the kids are able to turn around and do great work in the classroom as well. So it really is something that I value and I just really appreciate.
Thank you, coaches. I'm very excited and looking forward to November 11th for the opening games for both of you guys. Thank you, everybody, for listening. This has been the Pius Pod.
Appreciate you having us.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.